that night there was no moon. Only the wind. It blew from the barren fields, carrying a chill and the scent of rotting grass. On the deserted dirt road leading out of town, a lone figure trudged onward, a satchel on his shoulder, his legs weary to the bone. He was a poor scholar named Nie Xiaoqian. He had no land to his name, no silver in his purse. He was heading to the capital for the imperial exams, having walked for days on end, and was now lost in the middle of nowhere. But he was an upright man, pure of heart. He had never done a dishonest thing in his life, nor taken a single coin he had not earned with his own sweat. The sky grew darker and darker. The road back to town was long, and there wasn't a single roof in sight. Just as he was starting to worry, he caught sight of something behind a line of trees ahead. The curved roof of a temple, silhouetted against the gray sky. It was Lanruo Temple, a temple that had been abandoned for a very long time. Nie Xiaoqian rejoiced silently and quickened his pace. After all, a roof over his head was better than sleeping in the open. But as he passed through the main gate, he stopped short. The temple was more dilapidated than he had imagined. Broken tiles littered the courtyard. The walls were blotched with green moss, and weeds grew waist-high. In the main hall, the lacquered paint on the Buddha statue had nearly all peeled away. Only its wooden eyes remained, staring silently down into the darkness. The wind whistled through the broken door cracks, sounding like someone sighing softly. He shuddered, told himself it was just his imagination, and began searching for a place to rest. As he was looking around, he suddenly saw a light in the eastern wing. It was a flickering oil lamp, and a man sat there, his back as straight as a spear, a small wooden chest beside him. That was Nie Xiaoqian, a wandering swordsman who roamed the pugilist world. Nie Xiaoqian clasped his hands in a formal bow and asked for shelter for the night. The other man simply gave a slight nod without saying much. But as he was about to withdraw, Nie Xiaoqian suddenly looked up. His gaze was as sharp as a blade, piercing straight through him. Then he spoke, a single sentence. Tonight, no matter what you hear in the courtyard, do not step out of this corridor. Nie Xiaoqian found the word strange, but did not dare to ask. He clasped his hands in thanks and retreated to the western corridor. He trimmed the oil lamp's wick, unrolled his mat, and opened a book to read, trying to chase away the chilling sensation on the back of his neck. He had no idea that beneath the old poplar tree behind the temple there was an unmarked grave, and in that grave lay a restless spirit. Her name was Nie Xiaoqian. She had died young at just 18, her body buried in a foreign land with no family by her side. Worse still, her soul was held captive by an old demon in the area, unable to pass on. Night after night, the demon forced her to materialize, using her beauty to lure wayward travelers who stopped at the temple. Then it would drain their life force to sustain its own demonic existence. How many travelers had lost their lives at this temple? No one could count anymore. She did not want to harm people, but she had no choice. Anyone who resisted, the demon would torture her 10 times more. The second watch. A soft footstep was heard in the courtyard. So light it could have been the sound of a falling leaf. A young woman in white emerged from the mist. Her face was as beautiful as the full moon, her lips as red as rouge, her long hair flowing freely. She stopped by the western corridor, where Nie Xiaoqian's lamp cast a warm halo of light. Then she smiled faintly. Young scholar, on such a cold late night, why sit here all alone and suffer? Her voice was gentle, sweet as honey poured into the ear. Nie Xiaoqian looked up. Before such devastating beauty, his expression remained perfectly calm. He noted silently to himself. On a night this cold and dewy, the hem of her dress was still dry. Her bare feet rested on the cold stone floor, yet they did not tremble, and she did not draw a single breath. In his heart he understood. This woman was not a living person. But he was not afraid. He simply clasped his hands and said gently, "Miss, it is late, and there should be a proper distance between men and women. I must ask you to leave." The young woman did not leave. She took another step closer, her eyes glistening as if about to cry. Then she gently placed a solid gold ingot beside him, gleaming under the lamplight. "A small token of my sincerity. I hope you will accept it." That ingot was enough for a poor scholar like him to live comfortably for the rest of his life, never again to worry about food or clothing, nor struggle with the imperial exams. Nie Xiaoqian bent down and picked up the gold ingot. Then he threw it straight out into the dark courtyard. His voice was stern, without a trace of hesitation. "I do not know the origin of this gold, and so I dare not take it. Ill-gotten wealth, even a single coin, would dirty my hands." In that moment, the smile on the young woman's face vanished. She took a step back, trembling, but not from anger, but from astonishment. Ah! For all the years she had been trapped in this tormented existence, she had met countless men. Some were captivated by her beauty, others greedily snatched at her gold. Not a single one had been indifferent to both. Only this poor scholar, so poor he didn't have a single coin to his name, and yet he had refused an entire ingot of pure gold, all for the sake of 2 words, integrity. She looked at him for a long time. In her eyes, long grown cold, a strange light flickered. As if she had suddenly remembered that she was once human, once knew what honor was, what decency was. Then, without another word, she quietly turned and vanished into the night mist. Nie Xiaoqian remained sitting upright by the lamp, his heart untroubled, and continued to read until dawn. In the eastern wing, Yan Qixia slowly opened his eyes. An enigmatic smile touched his lips. It was as if he had foreseen something even before it had happened. That night at Lanruo Temple, for the first time in many years, no one lost their life. But what Nie Xiaoqian did not know was that tomorrow night the woman in white would return. Not to harm him, but to beg him for something, something that for all these years she had never dared to ask of anyone. And so our story for tonight comes to a close. What is the request of the woman in white? And why would a restless spirit, after so many years of silence, choose to place her trust in a poor unknown scholar? All this will be told in the next part of our story. If you're intrigued, please follow along to hear the complete tale of Nie Xiaoqian. Thank you for listening, and until next time.